Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your first Tuesday tune-in for Cohort 2, Fall 2022 of the Online Course Redesign and Faculty Certification Program. My name is Jacob Spradlin. I'll be your facilitator in the program if you didn't get a chance to tune into our orientation webinars yesterday. I'm coming to you with what will be a weekly occurrence in the cohort, and that is a way that we can kind of touch base, talk about what we've covered previously, as well as what we're going to cover, and then I try to slip in some tips, if you will, on things that are going on and happening in Ultra or Blackboard or something along those lines that can be beneficial to you and helpful to you as you find your way through the program. So I would highly encourage you, even if it's just a textual announcement or an email or something, a way to touch base. I've seen some faculty members do newsletters. I've seen others do other things. But for me, I like the idea of this venue because I can personalize the experience. And then that, I think, for me is helpful. And I think for students it's helpful to see who you are in real time. But anyway, this is the Tuesday Tune-In. I'll be coming to you with each week. And for this particular tool, I'm using a free software called Open Broadcasting Studio, and it is OBS. And I am just scraping the surface of this tool. It can do a lot more, but I love it. I love what it allows me to do from the standpoint of making my videos a little bit more what I want them to be. So, and I'm still learning it, so I'm in the early days yet. Wanted to talk to you about some things. First, the webinar orientation. The orientation webinar recordings are up. So if you go into your course under your course information, you will find that if you scroll down, there's orientation webinar recordings is now available for you to see. So when you click on it, it's going to open up on a page where you can access the slide deck. So where I'd actually click on the slide deck, I'd get a preview of the slideshow, and I can work my way through it. I can also choose to download the slideshow, so it's not like I have to wait for this thing to load. I could just go straight to the download option and get access to it. But I want you to know that you can get access to the slide deck for the program. But importantly here, we have both webinars available for you to watch. So orientation webinar 1, orientation, you can just watch the first one. They pretty much say the same stuff. But anyway, these are the recordings from our webinars, and I hope that you watch them, because if you missed yesterday's webinar, it was optional, but we do have these recordings, so you can avail yourself of them and check out what the cohort's all about, learn about some stuff. I'm going to talk about one thing that we talked about in the program, in the webinar yesterday today, but just know that it's here. Remember, you can find it under Course Information, the Course Information folder at the top of the course for your student, and then Orientation Webinar Recordings in there. That's where you'll find it. I want to draw your attention to something, and I'm going to turn on my student preview, and I'm going to speak to this again. We talked about it yesterday in the orientation webinar. And that is, I have turned on progress tracking in the course. Progress tracking allows you to keep track of what you've done and seen in the course. The neat thing about progress tracking is when I click on something, it starts to, and open it as a student, it actually keeps track of that for me. So if I look at, here's my module objectives and start here, for example. And I go on to the second thing, a little welcome and intro, all the things, and I work my way through these items in the module. It's going to keep track for me. What do I mean by that? So I'll show you. When I look here, I now have, instead of open circles, like here I have half-filled circles. That means I've clicked on it, I've opened it. And if I'm satisfied as the student that I've completed it, on the ones that aren't activities, I can go ahead and just click on them. And they will keep track of everything that I've done, right? Now, if it's an activity, it'll be complete once I submit it. So it'll mark me that I've opened it by putting it halfway. But the neat thing about that is I, as a student, can know where I am in a course because I've been clicking through these things and I can mark them as complete. The bonus for the instructor here, and I'm going to hit save my student data. The bonus for the instructor here is that the instructor can now go to a particular thing and check student progress on a module or things inside the module. So for instance, if I wanted to get student progress on the Start Here objectives, who do I know have actually looked at it or opened it or marked it as complete? I, as the instructor, can see that. So that helps me see how my students are engaging. And then when I see like a student maybe not doing so well in class, I can go check out the module and see what they've actually looked at. And if they haven't looked at the thing that I think could help them be better in that particular activity, I can reach out to them and say, hey, it looks like you missed out on this particular part of the module. I think it really helped you in completing this exercise. And so it's a retention tool, it's an engagement tool, it's an evaluation tool, but that student progress is a two-way street, right? The students can use it to help them keep track, but then you can help monitor the activity in your course. So anyway, just to show you that that's a neat little trick. Okay, that being said, one other thing I wanted to talk about. Each of you has been given a template course. Your template course is the CRTC template dash your name. We gave you template 1, all of you, but there are 2 other templates should you choose to look at them. Each one of these courses comes with a how toolkit, which has all the nice little how do I add content? How do I upload this? How do I do that inside Ultra, right? So you can go through here and check out that. But then under Start Here, in every one of these courses is a video called Welcome to the Course, where I walk you through what that course is like and what the navigation is all about. Also, there's a folder in here called First Week Activities that has example activities that you can copy and use in your courses to help students get engaged in those first 7 days of an online class. Research shows if you can engage students quickly, they tend to have a higher retention level, a satisfaction level, all those great things. So even if you don't have like prime course content ready, maybe you got the course assigned late, you can use some of these things to help your students start to get to work and start to form community, start to get engaged, all those great things. Now, this particular module is set up, or this particular course is set up where all the modules show up within, all the folders show up with one module, within a learning module. Every folder that I throw into this learning module inherits the ability for students to paginate their way through it, meaning they can hit that right arrow and move through everything. This is just one way to set up a course. We also have 2 other template courses that I'll show you that you can ask your designer to give you if you'd like to maybe look at more than one. This one is broken up with each module having its own module, not like folders within. So for instance, if I go to module 1, it has all the things, all the activities and all the readings for module 1, student can close it. So you can imagine maybe 16 of these. A neat little trick that you can do in this case is you can reverse order them. You can put the newest at the top and the oldest at the bottom, like module 16 at the top, module 1 at the bottom, and then time release them using release conditions, right? And I can say, okay, I want this one to be released on this date, this one to be on this date. So that's always the newest module would always be on top whenever the student looked at it. Another cool engagement tip. And then lastly, the last module that we have is here. And this is kind of I like to call this, some of us don't teach exactly the way, it's not taught across weeks, so it doesn't really equate that way. So we're going to show you another example of how you might do it. This isn't the limit, right? There are others, but inside module 1, in module 3, you'll notice there are 3 units. So module 1 covers multiple topics. And so that would be a way that you could then, inside unit 1, you've got all the nice things for unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, all inside module 1. Just different examples. Remember, you have been given module 1 as your template course. You can ask your instructional designer, to also give you access to a sandbox with module 2 and module 3 so you can see how they're different, right? Okay, let's talk about what's coming up. Obviously, we just started yesterday, so you don't have a lot of things from previous. What I will say is it's, and I say this in the orientation webinar, start from the beginning, work your way through. Everything is done in an order for specific reasons. So what does that mean? That means familiarize yourself with the syllabus, get in there, read the program syllabus. I got a question in the virtual office about a messed up day-date combo, and I fixed that. So thank you for the people that actually are posting questions in the virtual office. But that being said, you have all the things here like finding your instructional designer. If you have a general question for the course, you can post it in the virtual office discussion forum. But you'll start with Start Here, and you'll go through Start Here, and the 3 activities that are due this Thursday by 10 p.m. show up under Start Here. That's your first set of due dates, this Thursday at 10 p.m. Then Module 1 activities, course organization, are due on Sunday at 10 p.m. So we have a Thursday-Sunday rhythm to our due dates. Now, what I told folks in orientation, we realize that you're doing a lot of things, right? So we're not going to take away your birthday if you're a little late. I will say that you got 5 weeks. Roughly, it's about 25 hours worth of work over those 5 weeks, depending upon how you work and what your rhythm is. So it's okay to be a little behind. It's not that big of a deal. We want you to see how everything works in the confines of a course, so you know how your students see that stuff, right? So that's important. But I did want to draw your attention in every one of the modules after your Start Here module. I talked about this in our orientation webinar. You get access to the workbook. The workbook activity is, we have an entire workbook, but we break it up into separate sections in this program so you can assess your own courses. So here under the self-assessment workbook question around course organization, you can actually get in here and open up the, download the file, open it up, save it on your computer locally, and then answer the questions inside that file. So edit the file and answer the questions in the file. Save it again locally, and then upload it right back to the assignment itself. That's how that works. That's how that whole rhythm is going to work in terms of your self-assessment workbook. Remember, with these self-assessments, you are asking yourself questions about your own courses. So if you've never taught online yet and you're going to in the future, and the question is about what are you doing in your online course, your answer might be, well, I'm not teaching online yet, but here is what I plan to do, right? So that's how that works. All right, folks, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you as part of the program. I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday Tune-In. I hope you found it informational and helpful. And I look forward to talking to you again next week with our follow-up Tuesday Tune-In. And I hope it's just as helpful for you. If you have any questions, make sure to post them in the virtual office. We will respond there within 24 hours on a business day. Thank you all for your time and have a great rest of your week.